What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I want to talk about some not so great news. And that not so great news is I have no idea what's going to happen with Zach Wilson. Now I know what you're thinking. Why are we still talking about Zach Wilson in April of 2024? Well, he is still on the Jets roster. They've made it clear that they want to move on from him and that they are going to try to seek a trade. A trade has not been made and backup quarterbacks continue to come off the board. The most recent example is Carson Wentz, the former starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, then Indianapolis Colts and Washington Commanders, now finds a home in Kansas City as he will back up Patrick Mahomes. And the Kansas City Chiefs were one of the options that many people thought, hey, maybe that's a spot where Zach Wilson could go. But now, I don't know if I necessarily buy that. So what I wanted to do instead was to take a look at the backup quarterbacks around the league and see if we could find a spot for Zach Wilson to go. So first we'll pull up and start at the top. The Jets are not going to trade Zach Wilson in the AFC East to begin with, but you look at the backups on the board. Tyrod Taylor's a better backup than Zach Wilson is. Jacoby Brissett very well could end up being the backup there, as New England has been linked to a quarterback in the NFL draft. Mike White is the backup in Miami, and Mitch Trubisky is the backup in Buffalo. All those guys have proven to be better than Zach Wilson, unfortunately. AFC North, Josh Johnson, the backup in Baltimore, another one who's bounced around the league for a long time, but has shown more even recently. Jake Browning came in and did well in the absence to Joe Burrow since Cincinnati's out. Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley were added to Cleveland's room. The Pittsburgh Steelers traded for Justin Fields. They also have Russell Wilson, so that's kind of off the board as well there. You look at the Houston Texans, Davis Mills and Case Keenum. Tim Boyle is even on a roster technically as a fourth option. Joe Flacco signs on to be the backup in Indianapolis. Mac Jones gets acquired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mason Rudolph started a playoff game this year and is the backup quarterback in Tennessee. So this is it. This might be the only spot, and that's the AFC West, Denver Broncos. They have Jarrett Stidham and Ben DiNucci right now as their quarterback room. That is absolutely horrific. And supposedly, Sean Payton liked Zach Wilson before the NFL draft. So if the New York Jets are going to trade Zach Wilson, the Denver Broncos might be the only team left remaining for him. That's kind of the conclusion that I've come to for Zach Wilson. I don't know where else. I don't know where else. Jarrett Stidham, Ben DiNucci is a terrible quarterback room. They could be active in the first round as well, but that is a quarterback room that could use an upgrade, and Zach Wilson, maybe they take a flyer on him for, again, if you're trading for Zach Wilson, it's going to be late pick swaps anyway. It's not going to be some massive return for Zach. As I mentioned, Carson Wentz signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. That one's off the board. The Raiders, Gardner Minshew and a rookie quarterback, I'm going to say, are going to end up being starters. Aiden O'Connell was better than Zach Wilson last year. Easton Stick, as ridiculous as a name as that is, he was a solid quarterback. They didn't win any games. They were 0-4, the Chargers were, but Easton Stick had a 3-touchdown game last season for the New York Jets. It was the Los Angeles Chargers. It was a really solid, I don't know, he filled the role in well in Los Angeles. Cooper Rush is a better backup quarterback. The Giants paid Drew Lock. Kenny Pickett, the Eagles trade for, so that's their backup. Jeff Driscoll and Marcus Mariota in Washington. They're going to add another rookie quarterback there, so it pushes everyone down a spot. Maybe the Bears, but Tyson Bagent and Brett Rippon is even on a roster, but they're going to add Caleb Williams. So I don't know if they're going to want to also bring in Zach in that room. Hendon Hooker is the backup, the long-term backup for the Detroit Lions. Sean Clifford is a backup quarterback in Green Bay. Sam Darnold is going to be a backup quarterback in Minnesota. They are going to be active looking to trade up for a quarterback. Kirk Cousins and Taylor Heineke in Atlanta. Bryce Young and Andy Dalton in Carolina. The Saints, you can maybe sell me on. Jake Haener is their backup quarterback. Maybe the Saints, I would say, is the second most likely option, but the Denver Broncos by far and away, I think, the number one. Saints, I would put number two. And then looking at the final division, the NFC West, Desmond Ridder was acquired in a trade in Arizona, so that's off the board. The Rams, they're not even listing Jimmy G yet on this roster, so add Jimmy G in behind Matthew Stafford. Brock Purdy's and Josh Dobbs is the quarterback room in San Francisco. Don't think that's a likely scenario. And then the Seattle Seahawks traded for Sam Howell, so they have a project backup quarterback there. So basically the conclusion that I came to, I don't know where Zach is going to go. I get Denver number 1 most likely, and then New Orleans maybe number 2. So obviously not an ideal situation for Joe Douglas and the New York Jets. I think there's a good chance he ends up just getting cut. I'm holding out hope that on day 3 in the NFL draft, the New York Jets pull off a pick swap trade. It's a 7th round pick and Zach Wilson for something on day 3 in the NFL draft. We'll see what happens there, but not crazy optimistic. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.